On this worksheet, we will create a thermometer similar to what is found in the book and the one that you can see on the screen in front of you. Remember that most of the examples that we use are from the book, and we'll show you step by step, keystroke by keystroke, what you need to do in case you forget. Using the thermometer, notice if we come up here and add 100 to it, new customers, our thermometer goes up to 72%. Likewise, when we delete it, it goes down. How does this work? Here's our goal, 1,000, and this one just simply sums all the new customers. Down below in B21, it equals B19 divided by B18 and represents the percent completed. To create our chart, the data is simply this one single cell, B21. We'll insert a column, and this is the basics. Now we look at the two. If we add something here, 100, you notice it goes up as well, or goes down as we change that, but it's nowhere as professional looking as what we see on the left. So let's make those changes to make it look like the one on the left. First, I'm going to get rid of the legend because it really doesn't mean much. And I probably need to have this not end at 70%, but go all the way to our goal of 100%. So I will click on the vertical axis, right-click, and say Format Axis. Here you can see I can go auto, but I'm going to go from 0 through, I want 100%, so what's 100%? It's 1 in this case. That looks a lot better as far as the 100%. The chart title is on top of this. Let's just move this chart title so that it's not overlaying what we're trying to do. To do that, I'm going to click on the chart title and move it to be a centered overlay. Note that the 100% goes all the way to the top now. Next, we note that we have a lot of room on either side of our series. So I'm going to right-click on it and say Format the Series. And let's make it 100% overlap with a gap of 0. And we'll make it smaller by just pulling this over until we get to about the size we want. Now the chart is on top here. I'm going to pull it down onto our series, and then let's type in the name that we want. Control A to delete what's in there, and I'll type new, enter, customers. At the same time I have that, let me do a Control A to select it all and turn the font color to white, make it bold, and let's make it bigger, maybe about there. I like the angle of this previous one, so we come over here to the alignment, and you'll notice we can create a custom angle. We're actually going to make this into a negative angle, about, so let's say 10. We then need to reposition our new customers where they need to go. Sometimes you need to grab carefully to make that happen. I also want to add a data label, so I'll come up here and Data Labels. And there's my data label. I'll pull it down here. And let's make it a little bit bigger so that we can work with it. Inside, again, I will select it and make it white, bold, and a bit bigger. Maybe a little bit too big. We'll put it about right there. Now it's starting to look a lot more like the other one. Next, I really like that 3D effect that has a cylinder and we can watch it fill with this new customer data. Let's click on the series and format the data series over here. I'm going to go to Fill, and I'm clicking on Gradient Fill. I see the color shifting from top to bottom. I really don't have that in mind, so I'm going to change the angle from 90% to 0. That goes from left to right. That looks a lot better. Now I'm going to change the colors. This gradient stop on the left, I'm going to set to black. I'm also going to set the one on the right to black. We really don't need both of these center ones, so I will click on one and just click delete, and maybe move the other one over more to the center. That one I will change to a bright red. I really like that 3D look, but I would also like it to look like it's filling up a tube. To do that, we click on the plot area here behind. Before we do that, let's get rid of these lines in here because they will sit on top of the gradient fill. So I'll click on them and click delete. Now, clicking on the plot area, I click on gradient fill. Oh, but I can't see the background from this. The plot and the series both have the same fill, but that's easily solved. I'll come down to the gradient stop and just choose a light gray color. Now that looks like we're filling up the tube as we get new customers. Next, let's turn this so these are bolded. And your author says he doesn't like it when we have a line around a chart. It doesn't bother me that much, but let's make it look fancy and nice like he has done here. To do that, we'll click on the chart edge itself, and over here we'll look at the border. And the first thing I'm going to do is say round corners down here. And I'll click that. That gives us the rounded corners. And then I'm going to say no line. Now notice the rounded corners disappeared when I clicked on no line. So it was important to do that first. But the author has a nice shadow on his chart. So I'm going to come up here to Shadows and look at my presets. And his is outside, so outer. This upper left one shows the shadow on the bottom and right. Now, when I click outside the chart, I no longer see that hard edge on it, but I have a nice look and shadow feel to it. It looks quite a bit like the one that the author put together. I would be proud to show that to my boss or my customers or my colleagues. Let's move on to the next tab.